It's time now for Countywide, a special presentation of Yavapai Broadcasting News. Join News Director Paul David and News Editor Philip Catalfamo as they talk with our community's leaders, newsmakers, and people in the know. You'll hear about the hot topics in Yavapai County that affect all our lives. And now here's today's Countywide.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Countywide. I'm your host, Philip Catalfamo. I'd like to thank you for joining me. On today's show, we're talking winter heating safety, and my guest today is Highlands Fire Captain Brian Katrales. Captain Katrales, welcome onto the program.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Well, we're happy to have you. As we all know, we're getting close to getting that winter season rolling around. I walked out of my house today and thought maybe it'd be a good idea to grab a jacket because it was a little chilly, but we're getting very close to that winter season where people are going to be rolling out those space heaters and lighting up those wood stoves as well as their fireplaces, so that we take the time to make sure that you're able to do that safely and keep your winter season nice and safe and nice and warm. So Captain Katrales, we'll start with this. When should you get your heating unit serviced?
Well, to kind of respond to what you just said about getting a jacket on this morning, it was 28 degrees this morning when I got out of bed and got ready for work. And so here in Chimney Village, just south of Flagstaff. So as far as your heating units, it's recommended that you get your heating units serviced just before the season starts, before you're going to start wanting to depend on that heating unit, either your fireplace, your chimney, or an actual forced air heating unit inside your home. Want to get that service probably once a year. And as far as the filters are concerned, which are going to be the filters like in a forced air system, we recommend that you replace those filters every 3 months.
Okay. I'm a new renter. I'm living on my own for somewhat of the first time, minus college. So I'm coming across a lot of things that I haven't had to deal with before, specifically a furnace. And I don't necessarily know what to look for when I know that it's time to get it serviced, or things that I should look out for before I turn it back on. So my question is, what are some of the indications for some of these heating units that it is time for them to get serviced? What are some things to look out for?
Well, as far as renting is concerned, your landlord should make sure that the unit gets serviced once a year. As far as things to look out for, you want to look out for any strange noises coming on, like any indication of maybe a belt or a bearing going out in the actual fan unit itself. And as far as being able to any smells or anything like that. You will the first time you turn it on for the season, you'll probably experience a burning dust smell because there's just simply no way of getting around the dust that's going to accumulate in the ductwork and things like that. So you may have a burning dust smell, but if you see any smoke at all or anything like that coming out of any of the vents, or just thing it just doesn't seem like it's working right, that's a good time to get it shut off and of course get it serviced. And if there's a fire, obviously call 911 and exit the residence. So.
I think this is the first time that burning dust smell is a good thing, and probably the only time.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, another thing that is obviously very prominent in the winter season is hot ash, something that does need to be disposed of properly. So how do you do that? How do you dispose of hot ash properly?
The best way to dispose of hot ash, and that would be from a wood stove, or a chimney, a fireplace. The best way to do that is to remove it with a metal shovel and put it into a metal bucket. And that metal bucket you'll then take it outside your house, store that metal bucket with the ashes still in it, in an area like on the dirt, not on any grass or anything that's going to burn, maybe like in the driveway or cement or something like that, something non-combustible. And you want to store those ashes in the bucket for at least 2 weeks. And believe it or not, in 13, 14 days, you still may feel some heat in that bucket. But the last thing you want to do is take hot ashes and put them directly into your trash can, into like a large 90-gallon trash can that you would have a garbage truck come pick up. Right. Because there are going to be things inside that trash can that can catch fire, and you could catch the hot ash could catch the trash can on fire. And you're responsible for all of that. Any damage to any trash cans, the company is going to make sure that you're responsible for. So 2 weeks, and after that, ashes can be used as a really good mulch in the garden. So I don't really throw away any of my ashes. I actually mix them into the soil, and it's really good for the health of the soil.
Okay, I actually didn't know that, so I'll have to keep that in mind when I get back to trying to grow some plants. I tried to grow a tomato plant outside of my apartment, and it did not work because the sun likes to beat that side of my house quite well, so the tomato plant died very quickly, but maybe some hot ash would have helped. Would it be easier to just take the hot ash in the metal tin and just cover it with water, or just pour water in there and allow it to cool down that way, or is it just better to just let it naturally cool down?
Either way works. If you're going to start using water, then it's going to, you might start getting a mess. And remember, with hot ash and metal, especially metal that's not protected, it's going to rust really, really quickly, and it's going to eat through. So you're going to now have a big puddle of just a nasty, ash and water mixed together, and it's going to be unsightly. So I'd recommend just leaving it alone and leaving it for the 2 weeks.
Okay. As you mentioned, the ash coming from the fireplace. A lot of people have fireplaces here in Cottonwood and throughout the entire state of Arizona and literally everywhere else. So how do you make sure that your fireplace is safe to use?
A licensed professional would be the best answer to that. Just like with a heating unit inside your home, the best way to make sure that your fireplace and your wood stove are working properly is to have them serviced each year before the season starts. That would require, just getting a hold of a chimney sweep company, reputable chimney sweep company, and they will come out to your home. They will check the chimney from the roof to the cap, and they'll also inside the home will check the operation of the wood stove or the fireplace itself. The main functioning unit on a fireplace is basically just the damper, to make sure that the damper is functioning properly. You want to make sure that the damper can open all the way and also close all the way. And as far as a wood stove is concerned, they'll take them and make sure that none of the bricks inside, none of the fire bricks inside, for example, are cracked or have corroded away or anything like that. And as far as sweeping the chimney, they'll get on the roof and take care of that as well, and make sure the cap is clear as well.
Now, my next question is it safe to clean your own chimney? Go up there like Dick Van Dyke and Mary Poppins and clean your chimney yourself. Would you recommend that, or would you just say stick with the professionals?
I believe it is certainly safe to do it on your own if you're able to get onto the roof safely. If your stovepipe from the roof surface to the cap isn't so much that you can't reach it. On my house, I have a fair pitch on my roof, and I'm able to stand on the roof and actually remove the cap and use a sweep that I purchased, a chimney sweeper that I purchased, and I'm able to successfully clean the inside. And so basically the answer to that question in the simplest form, I believe, is if you can safely get on the roof, in other words, no snow on the roof, and safely access the chimney and be able to remove the cap to be able to get a chimney sweep down the stovepipe. In my situation here in my home, I do have a 45-degree angle just because of the location of my wood stove in my home, and it is challenging to get the chimney sweep, the handle actually past that 45-degree angle. So that's something that I actually do call a professional company to come and help me with.
Okay, so we're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we'll keep talking winter heating safety with Highlands Fire Captain Brian Katrales. We'll move on to wood stoves and your space heaters when we come back on the other side of this break. Countywide will be right back. Don't go anywhere.
Starting in the late 1920s, Grandpa Gettle and his brothers laid the groundwork for what would become a family legacy. Almost 100 years and 100 patents later, Gettle's High Desert Mechanical continues to raise the bar of quality heating, cooling, and plumbing products and services in the Verde Valley.
Call Gettle's High Desert Mechanical Heating, Air Conditioning, and Plumbing at 567-2200 or online at GettlesHDM.com, providing solutions for your comfort. Don't settle, get Gettles.
Hi, this is Greg at Verde Solar Power. You know, Arizona has lots of clean, renewable sunshine, and we want to help you take advantage of it with our quality solar installations, and we offer to beat any written offer on a residential solar electric system. So bring us your electric bill and let us show you how solar power will save you money. We're located conveniently here in the Verde Valley and are dedicated to helping the valley go solar. So remember, the energy solution comes up every morning.
So, I just moved in with this family, and it's embarrassing. The little one, he likes to go outside and crawl around in the giant litter box. I don't know what he's doing. I mean, I was born and I knew how to use the litter box. Look at that. That's disgusting. Oh, poop already. You're making me nervous. Oh, okay, I can't look at this anymore. I really hope he grows out of this, for his sake.
Orkin has pest control down to a science.
When your business chooses Orkin's Precision Protection Program, you get a tailored pest control program for your specific industry and environment.
Your business can benefit from over a century of experience, training, and scientific knowledge that define the Orkin man.
Maximum protection, minimum exposure, backed by one of the industry's most comprehensive guarantees.
Choose your locally owned and operated Northern Arizona Orkin and get more than an exterminator. Get an expert.
I want to welcome you back here to Countywide. On today's show, we're talking winter heating safety with Highlands Fire Captain Brian Katrales. In our first segment, we talked a little bit about making sure that you make sure you get your heating units nice and serviced before turning them on. The furnace, make sure that you are smelling that burning dust smell. That means that it's working properly. Of course, get all of your heating units serviced before you turn them on. Your chimneys, you can clean them by yourself, but you can also hire a professional. And of course, the most important thing, which is disposing hot ash, get it into that metal tin, put it somewhere that is not near grass or any kind of brush out by the garage door, and let that cool for about 14 days. I think you said, Captain Katrales, and then give it a nice little stir again and leave it out there, and then you can include it into your gardening, which I actually did not know. Captain Katrales, we talked a little bit about fireplaces at the end of the first segment. Spark arresters, I know, are an aspect of them. How important is it to get them properly installed and cleaned?
Very important. Let me make a quick address to something you just said about the burning dust smell. It's possible to smell burning dust because, don't look for it and things like that. If it lasts more than about a minute or so, then there might be something else that's burning. So as far as spark arresters are concerned, those are very important and actually required by law, by the county that you're in, for that matter. And it's about a 1/4 inch gap between screen gap in those. And the way that when you burn something in a wood stove or a chimney, and when you burn wood in what happens is there's going to be products of combustion that are going to be put off, and that's going to be the smoke. What you're going to see, and that smoke is basically unburned particles. Once that smoke travels up the chimney pipe and then out into the cold environment, which is probably going to be the stove pipe until it's really warm, until it's really hot and so forth, and it gets to the cap, it's going to condense and gather on the spark arrestor. And the last thing you want to do, of course, is for that spark arrestor to be plugged, that chimney cap to be plugged, and also you don't want any sparks to get out and possibly travel, into your yard or your neighbor's yard and start a fire. So it's important to make sure. I do it on a weekly basis at least, especially when it's in the peak of burning season. As I'm going out to my car, I just turn around and look and make sure that the spark arrestor, that I can see daylight through the spark arrestor, through the screen.
Okay, yeah, no, definitely important not to shoot hot ash or smoke onto your neighbor's yard, for sure, or even onto your own yard. So definitely get those spark arresters checked and installed properly. And going back to what you said about the burning dust smell, there's a good reason why I'm not the one giving out all the information, and I'm just hosting the show, because we can bring on professionals like you who know exactly what they're talking about. Speaking of furnaces, I have a furnace in my home. I've got one of those furnaces that look kind of like a cabinet. They're plugged into the wall. It's very tall. Right. I know there's a couple. They come in many different shapes and sizes. How far away should things be from your furnace?
Well, the good rule of thumb for that is 3 feet, and that would apply to a fireplace and also a wood stove. you want to make sure that nothing can get in, and especially in a furnace, a forced air furnace, you want to make sure that nothing will block the vents, because the furnace depends on the air to be, to be able to be sucked into the furnace, heated up, and then distributed throughout your home through the ductwork and through the vent system. So 3 feet.
Okay, 3 feet. Make sure to keep things away from your furnace about 3 feet. Okay, very much so. Space heaters are very popular, I would assume. You can move them around in your home. You can put them from one room to another. How do you put out a space heater fire? I know that there's a lot of, one of the big things is don't put anything on a space heater, because when you turn it on, it could catch fire. I know a lot of space heaters do have an emergency release valve, so if they tip over, they click a button and they shut off, which is great. But what if one happens to catch fire? I know electrical, you got to be kind of careful with that. So how do you put out a space heater fire?
Well, as far as the fire is concerned, the space heater is going to remain hot if it gets knocked over. And I think what you're talking about is the safety trip switch that's on it, that if it gets knocked over or gets too hot, it's going to shut itself off. Underwriters Laboratories requires that in all space heaters that are sold nowadays. So the best way to prepare or to prevent those kind of fires, to make sure that it's in an area that a pet or child or somebody or anyone is not going to trip over it and knock it over. And number 2 is have a fire extinguisher. The fire extinguisher to have in your home would be an ABC class fire extinguisher that covers combustibles, liquids, and electrical. So an ABC fire extinguisher can be purchased at any home improvement store. I won't drop any names, Home Depot, Walmart, whatever.
Not a sponsor.
And make sure that, of course, that you know how to use the fire extinguisher. Read the instructions that are going to be on the label on the fire extinguisher, so that you don't have to learn how to use it when you need it.
Okay, so an ABC extinguisher, which I'm actually really glad that you brought up, because I do need to purchase a fire extinguisher for my home. It'd be a very good idea. So ABC, I'll make sure to look out for those from any sort of hardware store or big box store. Is it safe to leave a heater on all night?
Well, as far as leaving a heater on all night, of course you want to leave your forced air furnace on all night. But if you're specifically talking about a space heater, sure, those space heaters are controlled by thermostats, and again, they do have the safety trip hazard in them. Just make sure that before you go to bed that none of those trip hazards are in the way, that nothing's going to fall on it, and if you can rely on your furnace that is designed to stay on all the time, I would do that. But yes, it is safe if you make sure that you've taken all those precautions.
I see all the time at Walmart there are these small personal heaters that are either fans or they're these little boxes that you can just plug in and have right next to you. They're like $20 or even less. Are those safe? Are they recommended, or is it just better to just kind of use them very sparingly? Are they good to use?
Those are safe as well. They do have the same trip hazard switch in them. In other words, if they get knocked over, they will turn themselves off. They do have an overheat protection as well. They're great for, I wish I had one right now, because I haven't even turned on my heater in my home yet right now. It'd be nice to have one under my desk right there.
I bet.
I'm shivering a little bit, but we won't talk about that, I guess. So yes, they are a safe item. Just need to make sure that they're used, per the manufacturer's recommendation. Every space heater will have, and those little portable heaters will have labels on them that explain the safety features, when to use them, how to use them, and the ventilation that's needed around them, and things like that.
Okay, so personal heaters are perfectly fine to purchase. I've seen them. I walk around the stores. I'm like, I could purchase that. I could put that in my room. It gets kind of cold in my house. My roommate likes to keep it cold in the house, so even my hands currently are still cold from this morning. So it's something I might invest in. So that was something I was curious about. But we're going to take another break. When we come back, we'll talk about current conditions up in the Coconino County area. On the other side of this break, Countywide will be right back. Do not go anywhere.
Starting in the late 1920s, Grandpa Gettle and his brothers laid the groundwork for what would become a family legacy. Almost 100 years and 100 patents later, Gettle's High Desert Mechanical continues to raise the bar of quality heating, cooling, and plumbing products and services in the Verde Valley.
Call Gettle's High Desert Mechanical Heating, Air Conditioning, and Plumbing at 567-2200 or online at GettlesHDM.com, providing solutions for your comfort. Don't settle. Get Gettles.
Hi, this is Greg at Verde Solar Power. You know, Arizona has lots of clean, renewable sunshine, and we want to help you take advantage of it with our quality solar installations, and we offer to beat any written offer on a residential solar electric system. So bring us your electric bill and let us show you how solar power will save you money. We're located conveniently here in the Verde Valley and are dedicated to helping the valley go solar. So remember, the energy solution comes up every morning.
So, I just moved in with his family, and it's embarrassing. The little one, he likes to go outside and crawl around in the giant litter box. I don't know what he's doing. I mean, I was born and I knew how to use the litter box. Look at that. That's disgusting. Oh, poop already. You're making me nervous. Oh, okay, I can't look at this anymore. I really hope he grows out of this, for his sake.
Orkin has pest control down to a science.
When your business chooses Orkin's Precision Protection Program, you get a tailored pest control program for your specific industry and environment.
Your business can benefit from over a century of experience, training, and scientific knowledge that define the Orkin man.
Maximum protection, minimum exposure, backed by one of the industry's most comprehensive guarantees.
Choose your locally owned and operated Northern Arizona Orkin and get more than an exterminator. Get an expert.
Want to welcome you back here to Countywide. We are talking about winter heating safety, and my guest today is Highlands Fire Captain Brian Katrales. I'm your host, Philip Catalfamo. Captain Katrales, we've got a few more minutes left in the program here. The northern part of the state has received a little bit more moisture than us here in the lower elevations in Yavapai County and even a little further south. But what are the current conditions right now? We've seen a few fires pop up. What are the conditions up in the northern state right now?
Well, it's cold in the mornings. It's one of those phenomena in Flagstaff where you're in Flagstaff when you have to have the heater on in the morning, and then in the afternoon when you go to lunch, you have to have the air conditioner on in your car. So we're experiencing that right now. Highs are sticking around probably 70s to mid 70s, and then the lows this morning at my house was 28 degrees. As far as the fire conditions are concerned, the county. That includes the Kaibab National Forest and the Coconino National Forest. I didn't do any research on Yavapai County, unfortunately. Sorry, but Coconino County and those two forests are under Stage 1 fire restrictions right now, which we've been in for quite a while and for most of this summer. Those Stage 1 fire restrictions mean that there are no open fires allowed. That includes charcoal, but we are allowing the use of propane grills. So the bottom line is if you can turn on and off the fire, then you can use it. So like a little camping stove would be okay. A barbecue grill that's powered by propane would be okay as well.
The best thing to do would be to check know before you go, or contact your local fire jurisdiction in the county or the city or the town that you're visiting to make sure to just make sure if there are fire restrictions in place that you know what they are and you know what they entail and what you can and cannot do. So know before you go, and also just contact a fire jurisdiction. I'm sure Captain Katrales will be happy to explain to you that there is currently no burning going on and that you have to have just a propane grill. Captain Katrales, we've got about a minute left here. I know you wanted to talk a little bit about winter driving safety. There are going to be some people traveling maybe up north to go play in the snow when we get to that point. People coming up from Phoenix to get away from the warmer-ish temperatures down there as opposed to up here. What are some winter driving safety tips that people can think of?
Sure. One of the first things that's popping into my head that you just mentioned was the playing in the snow. For some reason, it's really popular for people from the south, down south, to come up and park on the side of the road. And they like to sled or play in the snow right on the side of the road where, traffic is posted to 75 miles an hour, but we of course know that nobody really adheres to the 75 mile an hour speed limit, and it's just one of the silliest things, just most unsafest things I've ever seen, and I don't understand that mentality and that behavior. So don't pull off the side of the road to play in the snow. There are designated snow play areas up here in and around our area. And as far as winter driving, make sure that you allow extra time, as everybody always says. And one thing that we've tried to preach in the past is make sure that you have just an emergency kit with you, with you. We like to recommend that you have some food in there, some water, extra blankets, flashlight, and things like that. Just prepare for the worst. As far as food is concerned, I usually try to plan on having enough food for about 12 hours, and you can easily fit this kit in one of those multi-use grocery bags that you can get at most grocery stores, and just keep that in the trunk of the car. As far as water, sure, it might freeze, but just make sure you plan ahead for that.
Captain Katrales, we're out of time, but I want to thank you very much for coming on the program and talking some winter heating safety with me.
My absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for reaching out.
Well, I want to thank you for watching and listening. For my guest, Captain Katrales of Highlands Fire, I'm Philip Catalfamo, wishing you a great rest of your week, and we'll talk to you again next time.